up, YouTube? The kid back on the scene. You already know, KID9 back at it again with another video. We finna react to. Never thought I'd see this again. It's all about basketball. The playoff been going great lately. I ain't gonna lie. Ant-Man been blowing shit out of water. I can't wait to watch this game today. Shit crazy. I hope I drop this today so it makes sense. But yeah, let's get into that.
One of the best things that can happen to a young basketball player in their career is get compared to Michael Jordan. One of the worst things that can happen to a young player in their career is get compared to Michael Jordan. For every player that gets compared to MJ and is successful in the NBA, there's 5 more who fall a mile short and make the comparison seem blasphemous in the first place. Anthony Edwards is the latest player added to this list of hopeful Jordan success.
What I just said. Hey, Ant-Man been going crazy, bruh.
Successors. Only this time, it feels real. I mean, the memes and the jokes were funny at first, but now this is just getting uncanny. The highlights, the trash talking, the swagger, the charisma. Being compared to the best player to ever touch a basketball is an impossible task for any player to live up to. And yet,
bro, I know Ant just at home. I know it's a little bit of pressure. I just know it. Cause like, I love pressure, but damn, being compared to Mike in your like 3rd, 4th year. Wait, is this 3rd year? Bro, you on the right fucking track.
We can't help but to make the comparison. So how similar is Anthony Edwards to a young Michael Jordan? Is this comparison even warranted? Or is this gold standard still as unattainable and unrealistic as ever?
By the way, if Ant get to the finals, he gotta win. Cause the MJ comparison, if you wanna keep upholding that, he gotta win the finals. MJ went to the finals 6 times. He's 6-0. He gotta win the finals.
To be the best college basketball player in the country. And with his 6'5" all-in-one shooting guard package, it was only a matter of time before the infamous comparison to Michael Jordan was made. Later on, we would learn that despite his incredible skill set and Hall of Fame pedigree, the Michael Jordan comp was never really warranted. You might be familiar with this player. His name was Ray Allen. And looking back, outside of playing the same position, there wasn't much
They compare Ray Allen to MJ? Ray shoot though!
And MJ had in common. But this wasn't the first, and surely not the last time a player received a Jordan comp. In 1986, Ron Harper might have been the first player to ever be called the next Michael Jordan. The closest Harper ever got to Jordan was playing with him. Harold Miner was compared heavily to Jordan coming out of USC in 1992. One season and a bad injury later, Miner would become a cautionary tale for anyone eager to dub a player as the next Michael Jordan. This did not stop people from dubbing players as the next Michael Jordan. In 1993, Penny Hardaway received the comp. The next year, it was Grant Hill. A couple years after that, it was Jerry Stackhouse. In 1997,
damn, they just throwing that shit around. But Jordan only compared one person to him though. He said Ant-Man played like him, bruh.
Vince Carter was named the next Michael Jordan. And this time around, it actually felt like it might become a real thing. A 6'6" high-flying shooting guard out of North Carolina. That sounds awfully familiar. But despite putting together a Hall of Fame career, Vince Carter, just like every player that came before him, was in fact not the next Michael Jordan. Around the turn of the century, it was Kobe Bryant who was next up as Jordan's successor. Jordan was out of the NBA by now, and the league was in desperate
RP Kobe, bro. Real talk. I could still remember that day right now.
Search of a new poster child. Kobe Bryant came just in the nick of time. Kobe said he modeled his game after MJ, a statement that seemed like a far-fetched attempt to draw comparisons to the greatest player of all time from a 19-year-old kid. But with every passing season, Kobe hadn't just become like Mike. He became a carbon copy of Mike. 20 years later, Kobe Bryant—
oh my God. I just realized. That nigga Kobe was cooking so much, at the end of the day, he got cooked.
Built a legacy of his own. But he still remains the closest thing we have ever seen to Jordan. Since then, there's been a few more ill-advised next Michael Jordans. LeBron has been compared to Michael to the extent that you can't say one of their names in a sentence without mentioning the other. Dwayne Wade generated Jordan comps after his championship run in 2006, but that's about it. After 2 decades of attempting to find the next Michael Jordan, the basketball world settled into the fact that maybe the next Michael Jordan didn't exist. And even worse, giving a young kid the comparison was almost a curse that would mentally handicap them from becoming their own player. After LeBron in the mid-2000s, it became this sort of unwritten rule to compare any player to Michael Jordan. Not only because it usually didn't make any sense, but because the track record of Jordan's successors was looking pretty bleak. Oddly enough, most players who received the comp didn't actually play or act or look or carry themselves like Mike. They were just really good, sort of, kind of like Mike. Which brings us to today, and this guy, who is the first player in about 15 years to be tagged with the infamous Next Michael Jordan label. I mean, come on. We all see it. The similarities are striking, but due to the history of this comparison, no one wanted to be the first to actually say it. But in the midst of the postseason run he is putting together right now, we're all thinking the same thing. Anthony Edwards reminds us of Michael Jordan. And this time, we don't need to be baited into this comparison or hastily rushed into it.
Ant-Man is Jordan's son. Facts.
Is shoving the comp into our faces every time he steps on the court. The high-flying acrobatics, the overwhelming scoring barrages and lightning-quick first step, the cutthroat trash talk, the irrevocable confidence, even the commercials, the energy, the charisma. Where others seem to always be leaving one or two boxes unchecked, Anthony Edwards pretty much checks them all. Some fans are even saying he looks like MJ, which he doesn't, but for the sake of fun, we'll let them run with that. According to Chris Broussard, who reached out to Jordan earlier this season, even Michael Jordan said he sees the similarities between himself and Anthony Edwards.
Well, I reached out to the GOAT today, Michael Jordan, and Jordan said there are similarities in their games. He agreed. Wow. So Jordan said there's similarities, all right?
And in many interviews over the past...
How the fuck that random ass nigga was laughing so much? Ant-Man a bucket. The fuck?
Last year, Edwards has addressed the comparison, stating, although he can't deny it and he sees the similarities, he would rather it all just stop. But when you're doing the things Ant is doing right now, how could we possibly help ourselves? Now, Edwards has only played in 18 career playoff games, not enough to crack any all-time NBA postseason leaderboards. But we can see how Ant stacks up against MJ through his first 18 playoff games, where despite Ant being historically great, Michael Jordan is still in a completely different tier of his own. He scored more, rebounded more, made more assists, pretty much every metric outside of shooting efficiency. Mike was on another level. Michael had a far worse team to start his playoff career, which probably led to him being required to do more on the court, but there is no denying that he is still the gold standard.
Not gonna lie, comment down below who the GOAT. I say Bron any day of the week. There will never be another LeBron, bruh. 6'9", 245, pure muscle. That 2018 LeBron playoff run? Crazy. You had to be alive.
The very beginning of his career. And this is where a lot of people get caught up in this whole comparison. Ant is incredible. He's what the NBA needs right now. But Michael Jordan was pretty unanimously the best player in the NBA by his third season. And by his fourth season, he had already made an all-defensive team, multiple all-NBA teams, one Defensive Player of the Year, and a league MVP. And
1 MVP, 3... Oh my God.
Anthony Edwards is great, but he is projected to make an All-NBA team for the first time this year in his fourth season in the league. How could we possibly compare a young star who is just now ascending to superstar status to the greatest player of all time? According to Basketball Reference's similarity score metric, the most similar player to Michael Jordan throughout NBA history was Oscar Robertson. But this metric only considers the shape and quality of a player's career, not how they actually played or their skill set. If we refer to Crafted NBA's historic...
Nah, I seen a clip the other day of some old lady. She need to be hired by ESPN. She's so educated in basketball, it's insane.
Similarity app, which factors in everything a player does on the court, from their defense to their offense to their efficiency and creation and everything in between.
She was so invested in basketball, she had an all-season pass. All-season pass, bro. Need to hire that lady.
Closest thing to Michael Jordan in year 4 was Clyde Drexler in 1988, followed by a bunch of Kobe and Dwayne Wade seasons. If we limit our list of eligible candidates down to the pace and space era, or the last 10 NBA seasons, then the most similar player to MJ is actually 2015 Jimmy Butler, followed by Oladipo in 2016, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in 2020, and Bradley Beal in 2018. Anthony Edwards doesn't even crack this list until the 7th
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what the fuck any of this mean.
and 8th spots with his 2022 and 2023 seasons. So again, why now, and why him of all players to resurrect this next MJ tag? Well, because being good, and even playing a similar game, is just a sliver of what makes Anthony Edwards like Mike. In terms of play style, Ant is probably closer to a young Dwayne Wade than he is to Jordan. And I think
That was a reach. Nah, that's crazy. I'm talking about charisma, off the court, on the court. That man is him. No glaze. You could leave the donuts at home. No glaze. That man is him. Ant-Man, hey, it might be possible, but if them boys get Denver out of there, that man is him.
most fans are aware of this. But for a lot of fans, it's not that Anthony Edwards plays exactly like a young Michael Jordan, it's that he makes us feel the same way a young Michael Jordan made fans feel 35 years ago. He doesn't just put together crazy dunks, he electrifies the crowd and gets us on our feet. The kind of moments that leave you and your buddies buzzing about long after the game is over. He doesn't just take over games, he talks trash while he's doing it, and he's got a pretty solid track record of backing it up. He's not just a part of a winning team. At just 22 years old, he is leading a winning team. He's not just really good. He's hungry and he's driven, and his larger-than-life character and skill set and flair only grow.
Oh my God, you see that right there?
And skill
he knew
set.
He fucked up. Look, right there. He knew he fucked up. AD knew he fucked up. Good look.
Flair only grow larger in the biggest
He knew he
moments.
fucked up.
Even off the court, his mannerisms, mentality, and personality have Jordan written all over it. Being incredible on the court isn't the defining factor that provokes MJ comps with Edwards. In fact, even before Ant was dropping jaws on a contending team, many scouts and analysts made note of how eerily similar Edwards was to a young Jordan, dating all the way back to 2021, and long before we knew he would be this special. Saying Anthony Edwards reminds us of Jordan isn't saying we think he's gonna win 6 titles or be the greatest player of all time. It's saying that we saw Michael Jordan play, and now we're seeing Anthony Edwards play, and the similarities are just staring us in the face. Now, one thing I know for certain is that people who watched Michael Jordan play are the last people on earth to say anyone plays or resembles Jordan in any way. I mean, the guy is referred to as Black Jesus to some former players, for crying out loud. So even when former players begin to come out and rave about the
Imagine, bruh. You know what kind of aura that is when you walk in a room and everybody just, ooh, Jordan's here. Ooh, let me shut up. Jordan's here. Jordan finna say something. That's crazy as fuck. I need that aura. Hashtag need that.
similarities between him and Anthony Edwards, you can bet the comparison is as warranted as it's ever been. See, not every player that garnered a Michael Jordan comparison is similar to the next. There are players that play like Jordan, the footwork, the mid-range game, getting to the rim. There's players that act like Jordan, the psychotic competitors. There's the players that move like Jordan, the freak athletes. And then there's players who got compared to MJ for almost no other reason besides the fact that they were really good. There have been many players to fulfill 1, 2, maybe 3 of these attributes, but no one.
Nah, let's not say Kobe wasn't dead close to. Kobe wasn't like as flashy as Jordan. I'm talking about off the court. Kobe was more like preserved. Jordan was like ambitious faces. Jordan ain't get no fucks. I ain't gonna lie. Jordan gonna talk his shit to the. Kobe gonna talk his shit too. But I'm saying, bro, you know what the fuck I mean, bro.
Has ever quite lived up to all 4. Here's an overly complicated diagram of these proclaimed Jordan successors, which boxes they checked, and where they fell short.
Who's that? Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine got compared to Michael Jordan? They call LaVine the next Jordan? When was Zach LaVine last highlight? 2016? Huh? Kawhi, Kobe, LeBron, shot.
Players that acted like him, the freak athletes, players who were really good, and everything in between. Grant Hill, Allen Iverson, and Penny Hardaway got Jordan comparisons early on, but outside of just being really good, they didn't really have anything in common with MJ. DeRozan, Harold Miner, and Jerry Stackhouse played like Jordan, but they weren't quite the freak athlete that Jordan was. On the other end, Zach LaVine, Andrew Wiggins, and Ron Harper were freak athletes early in their careers, but that alone should have never been enough evidence to deem them the next Michael Jordan. But when you pair some of these attributes together, we'll start to find players who came closer to the Jordan comparison. LeBron, McGrady, Vince, Derrick Rose, and Len Bias were all freak athletes who were really good, but
the fuck is Len Bias? The fuck is Len Bias? Am I bugging? I ain't never heard that before.
They didn't really play like Jordan, and they weren't psychotic with their approach on winning. Kawhi Leonard plays like Jordan, and he's really good, but he's an emotional robot with a 29-inch vert. Which leaves us with 3 players who have probably come closer to the Jordan comp than anyone else since Jordan's departure from the league. Dwayne Wade, who had a fairly similar game to Jordan, was really good and was a freak athlete. And Kobe Bryant and Jimmy Butler, who play like Jordan, were and are really good respectively, and are both cutthroat competitors like Jordan was. But that's about as close as you're gonna get. Because Jimmy Butler isn't a freak athlete, and neither was Kobe. In fact, Kobe was often praised for making the most of his abilities despite not being nearly the athlete Jordan was. And amongst all of these players and attributes, right now, Anthony Edwards is probably right about here. He acts like Jordan, he's a freak athlete, and he's really good. But he doesn't really play all that much like Michael did. There's definitely flashes of a young MJ in his game with his ability to play above the rim.
He can't play like Jordan did because it's a new era. He gotta pull up from 40 feet deep if he needs to. Jordan not doing that. He passing it to Steve Kerr.
Low pass defenders with a lightning quick first step, and of course the mind-melting posters. But just like everyone else that came before him, there are, of course, differences that separate Anthony Edwards from a young Michael Jordan. With that being said, these few differences aren't nearly enough to beat the allegations of similarities. Some people have mentioned that they never saw MJ play live, but watching Ant might be what it must have felt like. Fans that did watch MJ play testify that it
I ain't gonna lie, I wish I seen MJ play live. That'd be crazy as hell seeing MJ play live though. I was born too late. If I was born just 10 years later, like if I was born in like 2036, I just know I would have been like 7'6". I'm not gonna lie.
Was in fact just like this. With a generation of megastars entering the last stages of their careers, fans of the NBA have been speculating who the new face of the league might be, and there's a lot of great candidates. Maybe it's Tatum or Luka. It was looking like it might be Ja Morant for a moment, but the off-court issues have stunted that option. SGA put up a Jordan-esque.
If Wemby doesn't get injured, by the time that he's 23, he'll be the face of the league. I said it here, right now. By the time that he's 23, he'll be the face of the league.
Stat line this year, so maybe it's him. Jokic has been the best player in the league for the last few years, but I'm not sure if anyone would consider him the face of the NBA. Because being the face of the best basketball league in the world is about more than just being the best player in the league. You need charisma, marketability. You need to resonate with the masses. You need to put together big moments and absurd highlights that inspire even non-NBA fans. We want to know that you love the game just as much as we do. Commercials and endorsements, candid and endearing interviews that connect with the fans, a no-excuse workhorse mentality with a superhuman set of skills to contrast it. Kobe Bryant only won 1 MVP in his 20-year career, but he was the face of the NBA for about a decade. LeBron carried the torch for the majority of some of our lives, and despite not being the best player in the world anymore, he's still probably the face of the league. Steph was as likable and relatable and inspiring as a superstar can get. A very unexpected but revered face of the NBA for many years. Anthony Edwards looks like he might just be the next player to grab the torch and lead the league into a new era. The kid's got the whole package. His team loves him, the league loves him, the fans love him. Maybe because he ignites us, inspires.
Bro, Ant, please, Ant, do not pull a Ja Morant, Ant. Please, don't do no stupid shit, bro. Please, bro. Like,
us and reminds us of why we all love the game. But maybe it's also because he reminds us of a player who did all of those things years ago.
Can't guard me. Damn. That's it? That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That was a nice ass little video. Make sure you subscribe. I ain't gonna front. But, bro, Ant, bro. Please do not do no stupid shit, bro. Do not get caught lacking at no club, bruh. Like, chill. Carry the torch. With all that being said, bruh, sub up, KID out.